911, where's your emergency?
I need to report a murder.
Okay, where is that, sir?
157 Redstone Drive in Warrington.
157?
167.
Okay, can you tell me about what's going on there?
Mother and son, bludgeoned to death.
And you just found that?
Yes.
Okay, who are you?
I am the husband.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did.
Today, I want to talk about a case that really caught my attention. I actually found it because of a TikTok, so don't get mad at me. But the TikTok had the infamous 911 call that the husband made, and it is just outright crazy. So I definitely wanted to kind of put that out. Every time I do a case, I definitely check if it's been out a lot, if it's like kind of quite popular. So this definitely isn't that popular at all. So I definitely want to make a video about it. So we're going to dive into the Moyer family and the tragedy that the husband is guilty of. Yeah. So let's go.
You didn't wanna know I was by your side.
2011 is when this tragedy struck the Moyer family. The Moyer family consisted of 3 people: Christopher Moyer, Irana Geller, and Dylan Moyer. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the background through Chris, Irana, and Dylan. Hopefully this will give us an understanding about the dynamic of the family and a closer look into the actual tragedy and why the motive is what it is. So Christopher Moyer, aged 44 at the time of the incident, was a computer specialist, always loved to work from home. He grew up in Neves Village of North Whitehall Township, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. Try to say that 3 times. And Christopher also attended Kutzin University and was known to be a private individual, according to his neighbors. So in 2002, he married Irana Geller, a native of Kiev, Ukraine, which was actually their second marriage for both. So 2 times the charm, maybe. Irana was 39 and she was described as an incredible mother and an incredibly devoted wife. They had a son who was 7 years old and his name was Dylan Moyer, and he had just completed first grade at Titus Elementary School. Now, everything that I looked up while doing research for this case, I looked into some quotes that the teachers gave about Dylan after the case. Boy, are they tragic. Super, super sad, because apparently this kid was incredibly articulate. He was super advanced vocabulary. He had keen interest in non-fictional books. I mean, the teachers were like, this kid must read at school. He was super, super intelligent. There's even a quote that I will quote later about his eyes and his smile. So it's really tragic, but the family really had a gem with this young little boy. This family resided in a 4-bedroom home on Redstone Drive in Warrington, which they purchased in 2003. And that's pretty much a good little overview of them and right before the tragedy. So
I keep on telling you well, you don't come home from nights out.
now, from the research I gathered, which were all police reports, quotes from neighbors, it really seemed the tragedy was a surprise to all. All the neighbors, all the acquaintances the Moyers ever had, they all said that they appeared to be a typical suburban family. Really straight and narrow, nothing crazy. Christopher was often seen spending a lot of quality time with Dylan outside. Apparently, they played a lot on the sidewalk, and they were always doing father-son activities. And both parents were extremely active in Dylan's education. So it's not like your typical case of like really bad parents or like abusive parents who, you know, they were troubled and always kept their child away, like locked up in a little box. No, or they weren't even friendly to their neighbors and, you know, had duct tape on their windows. No, completely the opposite. Everyone who was interviewed or even mentioned after the tragedy completely were in surprise, and they continued to mention how great the family was and how involved Dylan and their parents were into school and how educated the little boy was as well. So again, super, super out of nowhere, complete tragedy. But as we all know, tragically, despite this outward appearance, it seemed that something was really boiling under the whole relationship between Chris and Irana. Family was faced with underlying challenges, and particularly, apparently, they were all financial. But I will say this now so you don't get the wrong narrative. He never left a manifesto. This is all just information that came up after the incident. But you know how it is. I want to keep you in suspense. So court records indicate that in September 2010, a $2,228 lien was filed against their property by the state. And they had previously avoided foreclosure in 2006 and had paid off a federal lien filed that same year. So maybe, I'm just saying, just maybe these financial struggles were the beginning of the family's tragic end. Now, finally, we're here. The tragic events of June 17, 2011. On the night of June 17, 2011, Christopher Moyer committed an unthinkable act. Using a baseball bat, he walked into the bedroom of his wife and son, and he bludgeoned his wife, Irana, and their son, Dylan, to death as they slept in their beds. After the murders, he moved Irana's bed for godforsaken reason into an adjacent bathroom, and at 9:40 p.m., Christopher made a chilling 911 call to report the murders. During the 911 call, you're going to see Christopher's demeanor is, simply put, batshit crazy. I don't know. Super calm, super crazy, super weird. Anyways, here's the 911 call.
911, where's your emergency?
I need to report a murder.
Okay, where is that, sir?
157 Redstone Drive in Warrington.
157?
167.
Okay, can you tell me about what's going on there?
Mother and son, bludgeoned to death.
And you just found that?
Yes.
Okay, who are you?
I'm the husband.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did.
So after calmly confessing to killing his entire family, he ends the call by thanking the dispatcher. And before leaving the house, Christopher left behind a also crazy list of family members to contact, which authorities discovered literally after the murders when entering their home. So he left like a list of family contacts that police should grab and basically inform them of the tragedy one by one. Also, after the murders, apparently Chris made a phone call to a family member, but I personally couldn't find any reports on who the family member was or what the conversations were. I saw a few videos that were fan-made, but I don't believe that that's the actual factual information. I think they kind of made that up because I personally couldn't find any information about what he might have said or who he might have called. But the police report does say that Christopher did call someone right before he stepped out of murdering his entire family. Following the 911 call, following the call to a family member, Chris leaves his house and drives all the way to a railroad crossing in Hatboro. There, police suggested that he might have known the timing of the railroad of the SEPTA train because he ended up laying down on the train tracks and having the train run over his body, apparently just his head. So he committed suicide by decapitation by a SEPTA train. So good for him. Goddamn. Now, one little aspect of this whole thing that really even blew me out of the water was that after the whole tragedy, after the whole, suicide by train, as the police were conducting their investigation, I do believe the reports say Christopher's parents, along with the brother and sister-in-law, were all coming from Northeast Philadelphia. and they all arrived at the residence while police were investigating this double murder suicide, you know? Apparently they were anticipating for the Moyers to bring Dylan over to the grandparents' house, but when they didn't arrive and they also weren't reachable by phone, they decided to take a travel to see what was going on. So imagine they pulled up to police searching the home and investigating the murder. They were obviously informed of the tragic deaths by authorities once they reached the home, and detectives in Warrington police began preparing a warrant to investigate all the murders. So just imagine that. Not only did this man bludgeon his wife and son to death, he later contacted a family member, made a list, walked out the home, laid his stupid ass into a railroad track, let the SEPTA train take his head, and then his brother and sister-in-law show up at the house because they're expecting Dylan, only to find out that they're all dead. I mean, yeah, crazy. The exact motive behind Christopher Moyer's actions still really are unclear, since he really didn't leave a manifesto. There was no real nothing, no explanation, he didn't vent to anyone, he didn't vent to his family, no neighbors, so it really came out of so it's all really, speculation, but investigators really do believe that it was just all financial stress. They do believe that it was all one-sided and it was all Christopher as well. The family's history of financial troubles, including the liens, maybe the previous threats of foreclosure, may have just really broken Christopher's state of mind. Despite the challenges, there were really no reports of domestic violence, any criminal involvement, with the Moyers, just everything was good except what investigators believe Christopher's mind. Christopher's mind was not good. Everything was good except their finances and Christopher's mind. Again, these tragic deaths of Irana and Dylan Moyer really, had a profound impact in Warrington community. Again, the neighbors and the teachers remember Dylan as such a bright, exquisite child, super articulate, intelligent as hell, super involved in the community, which, they really felt the loss. I'm going to read some of the quotes that the teachers made because they are heartbreaking and it really shows how beautiful and special that little kid was. So Linda Castillo was Dylan's kindergarten teacher. When you finished, the quote is, "When you finished helping him, I'll never forget how he would look up at you with those eyes. He would always say, 'Thank you,' and smile that beautiful smile. He had such a beautiful smile." Usually at the end of my videos, I really like to add my opinion part, but honestly, this one, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a tragedy. It's a shame that we lost that little boy Dylan, such a smart, charismatic, intelligent, articulate child. I mean, that alone, that is the true tragedy, losing such an exceptional child. I will say this also, if you are financially struggling or you are mentally struggling, violence is never the answer. I'm going to put some hotline numbers under the link below and under this video so you guys could see and do some research just in case if you need it. Also, you could also reach out to me. I am no financial guru, but I will talk to you positively and whisper beautiful things into your ear. If no one has ever done that to you, I will. Anyways, I want to thank everyone who's made it this far in this video. Thank you so much. I don't think anyone actually does get this far in the video because from my analytics, it says that everyone drops off at like a minute or so. So if you do make it to the end, please drop a comment so I know that you guys are watching. And the one person who's watching, I'd love to know you. And leave a like or a comment. And thank you so much. I'm not even going to tell you to subscribe because I don't even think if anyone's even getting this far to even get that far. So anyways, subscribe if you even get this far. But if you're that one person who does get that far, look, listen, all you got to do is comment so I know that you actually did it. I don't even care about the subscription because I just want to know that someone's hearing me out. All right. Anyways, I'm out of here. This was fun. I hope you learned something, which I don't know. I guess you just learned about a tragic story. Anyways, love y'all. Until next time, stay safe.